living for the moment, now we're one with the world. I can't lose this feeling I get. My heart's in the right place, and so is my soul, yeah. I won't take no excuses for it. I want it, love it, need it, live it. I feel like something's missing when I do not have it. I feel it in my bones, gotta find my space. These emotions on my face, taking a toll, I gotta pay it forward. I'll give it all that I can. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take no for an answer. If it don't hurt me, it makes me stronger. Yeah. What I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take it no more. If I won't, I will be there. Just leave it to me. I know what I need. You'll find if you see. And if you believe, you live and you breathe, you'll find the key. Lifting me, lifting you. Can't go alone, let's do by two. Doing this together, it's me by you. All through the night, all through the night. This is me, this is you. When we get together, we can all pull through. I don't ever wanna stop this groove. Let's get it right. Take it to the Lord, then take it to the grave. Listen to the wise man, tell me what to say. Listen to your heartbeat like it still bleed. A little bit of hope, yeah, it's what we still need. Say a little prayer for the moment. Give what you got, just go in. Can't hold you back if you own it. Live your life like you're chosen. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take no for an answer. If it don't hurt me, it makes me stronger. Yeah. What I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take it no more. If I won't, I will be there. Just leave it to me. I know what I need. You'll find if you see. And if you believe, you live and you breathe, you'll find the key. Know what I need, I know what I need. The key.
Chasing love in an empty bar. Pour a drink till I make it past. The midnight hour seems to come and go, but I know. Walk on up with a drink in hand, sipping mixers cause you can. And all the lights begin to switch off. You're chasing the night, holding on for life. Holding on for life, feeding the high, chasing the night, chasing the night. Hotel rooms and city squares, champagne bottles, drum and snare. The sights and cities seem to fall away when you stay. Locked in love for a night or two, losing sleep just to get a few. Day to day you wanna stay out, you're chasing the light, holding on for life, fading in the light, chasing the light, chasing the light, chasing the light.
We're living for the moment now, we're one with the world. I can't lose this feeling I get. My heart's in the right place, and so is my soul, yeah. I won't take no excuses for it. Love it, need it, live it. I feel like something's missing when I do not have it. I feel it in my bones, gotta find my space. These emotions on my face, taking a toll, I gotta pay it forward. I'll give it all that I can. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take no for an answer. If it don't hurt me, it makes me stronger. Yeah. No what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take it no more. I won't. Oh, I'll be there. Just leave it to me. I know what I need. You'll find if you see. And if you believe, you live and you breathe, you'll find the key. Lifting me, lifting you. Can't go alone, let's do by two. Doing this together, it's me by you. All through the night, all through the night. This is me, this is you. When we get together, we can all pull through. I don't ever ever wanna stop this groove. Let's get it right. Take it to the Lord, then take it to the grave. Listen to the wise man, tell me what to say. Listen to your heartbeat like it still bleed. A little bit of hope, yeah, it's what we still need. Say a little prayer for the moment. Give what you got, just go in. Can't hold you back if you own it. Live your life like you're chosen. No matter what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take no for an answer. If it don't hurt me, it makes me stronger. You know what, I won't let up. It's in my soul, it's in my blood, and I won't take it no more. I won't. Oh, I'll be there. Just leave it to me. I know what I need. You'll find if you see. And if you believe, you live and you breathe, you'll find the key.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final round of the multi-class GT series here on RCI TV. My name is Ryan Gill. I'm going to be your broadcaster and lead commentator for tonight, and joining me at a very dark Suzuka for the final round of the season is Paul Glover.
Good evening, happy Thursday, everybody, for the final round, fifth and final round of the multi-class series at RCI. I'm looking forward to this because Suzuka is one of my favourite tracks. Ryan, I'm sure it's one of yours too.
Oh, it's it's definitely up there. It's a real old school type of circuit. Very, very punishing. There's not much room for mistakes around a circuit like this. I found that out quite recently. Kind of refreshed the memory a bit in an endurance race I ran. But besides that, we will have Nick Setnick joining us a bit later on after qualifying, so he will be here for the start of the race. But like I said, we're here for the final round, and we're currently looking at Samir Ibrahimi. He is the championship leader in the GT3 Pro class coming into the final round of the championship. 13 points separates him and Raymond Mooney to see who will take honours at the end of the season. They'll have a 75-minute race here tonight at Suzuka in the dark. It's going to be exciting, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. Samir. I wasn't here for the last round, but I've watched it back, and Samir, didn't have a great showing last time out. So that's allowed the likes of Mooney and even we were saying before we went on air that Frederic is also within a shout a little bit further back from Mooney with 172 points. Mooney's on 186 and Samir's on 199. So it's close up there. So the pressure's on. And as we can see, we're watching Samir Ibrahimi at the moment in the Audi's company third with 2 minutes of practice to go.
Yeah, he didn't have a very good race out at Zolder last time out. In fact, had a couple of issues. He failed to set a qualifying lap, so of course he had to start all the way from the back behind the GT4s, and then of course he picked up a stop and go penalty later on in the race for speeding in the pit lane when he did his mandatory pit stop. So yeah, he had a bit of a tough race, and he'll be looking to right that wrong here today. But he can't really afford to have a poor race here today, because if Raymond Mooney does come away with a top 3 and Samir Ibrahimi has a poor result like he did at Zolder, he could easily find himself not first, but second in the championship. So, all to play for still in the GT3 class. But in the GT4s, it is James Parker that leads the way in the championship. 245 points. He's got a 33-point gap between himself and Bruno Cadili. And, it's not impossible for Bruno Cadili to win the championship, but he's going to need James Parker to ideally DNF tonight.
Yeah, so an internet connection, he'll be praying that his ISP lets him down, won't he? So, but yeah, James Parker absolutely run away with the championship last time out. I believe he won the race with about a 40-second gap. And he had to get past Cadili, in the early stages of the race as well, and then managed to open up that gap. But as we look at Raymond Mooney, the Coach Z Racing Academy car, the Porsche car number 11, he'll be hoping that he can upset the apple cart today by potentially winning the race, and hopefully, praying that Samir isn't going to perform. But to be honest with you, I think this is probably a Samir track. As Mr. Mooney loses a little bit, collects the car again and carries on. But this is the kind of track I think that Samir can kind of open his legs, so to speak, and have good pace. He necessarily, I think, has better races than he does qualifying. But I mean, the fastest time at the moment is an impressive 1:58.5 at the top of the leaderboard there. That is an impressive time. And Samir is just over half a second off that. So, but I don't think he'll be too worried. I'm hoping that he'll have better race pace. But this is only free practice, as that's coming to an end now, and we look towards qualifying.
Yeah, the statistics definitely, show that Samir Ibrahimi is a much better racer than he is a qualifier. 2 wins, 3 podiums, no pole positions in 4 races so far this season. So Samir Ibrahimi hasn't picked up any points for pole position or any points for fastest lap at any point during the season, so he hasn't received any of those bonus points that are on offer. Unlike Raymond Mooney, who took pole position at Silverstone quite dominantly, David Frederich, who has had 2 pole positions this season in the Bentley GT3, and of course it was Jaroslav Honzik and Tobias Pefeffer that fill out the other 2 pole positions we've had this season. Tobias Pefeffer, he got the pole position at Zolder last week, and then Jardia picked one up at, I think it was Kyalami, if I'm remembering things correctly. So of course, you know, they've been picking up some of those bonus points, but Samir Brahimi, far from it. But of course, it's just proving his consistency. As practice comes to an end, we do move on into qualifying. And one of the things that you'll see here is that qualifying taking place, I think it's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, a stark contrast to when the race will take place later this evening.
Yeah, so Suzuka looks amazing, you know, especially when it does the day to night transitions. I mean, ACC is a fantastic looking game, as we know, you know, but when it gets into that nighttime kind of phase, it just, for me, it goes to another level. I mean, you see the exhaust glowing, the brakes glowing, but you know, we got the famous funfair here, the famous wheel in the background, and so when you get to that night transition, it just brings it brings the realism to another level for me, this game. As we look at Jonathan Bentz in the Aston Martin car number 310, so he's the first out, and he'll be the first driver to set his pole lap, or sorry, his qualifying lap. And as all with previous rounds, the GT4s go out first, and then as we get up to about 10 minutes left, the GT3s will head out, and the GT4s can either complete their lap or get out of the way very quickly, because there is a bit of a pace difference between the two. So it's good that we keep these guys separate and not to trip over each other, which I think has worked really well, hasn't it, Ryan, for this series?
Yeah, the qualifying, you know, it was kind of something that we had to throw together after we had the multi-class race at Silverstone. We had an event there, a multi-class event, and we kind of realised that having these cars do qualifying at the exact same time would not be a great idea. So, you know, we had to come up with something. A split qualifying was the best idea, unfortunately, the way ACC works. You can't have 2 separate qualifying sessions and then, you know, have GT4s go out in one, GT3s go out in the other, and then use the results of both qualifying sessions to form up the grid, because it only counts the first qualifying session, unfortunately, in terms of making up the grid. So, you know, if the GT4s went out first, well, the GT3s would be at the back of the grid, which is interesting for some people, but I'm pretty sure the GT3 drivers wouldn't be too keen on that.
No, of course. And as we've seen with some of the guys that have had some qualifying issues when they start at the back of the grid, getting past the GT4 cars, you know, especially on the first lap, where we also see spins as well and crashes, and then again some of the GT3s will end up behind the GT4s. It isn't quite as simple as you think to pass those cars, especially when you enter the more twisty part of the tracks. As Jonathan Bentz comes to start his first flying lap round Suzuka, and you know, and he's already into the famous S's here. This is my favourite part of the track, where you swing it right and swing it left, and then up the hill here. And you kind of, the thing is here is like, you have to kind of hold on to the pedal a little bit, and you want to put the pedal down, but if you do that, you'll drift wide as you move over to the left into the first right-hander, and then the short little straight here and into the sharp right. Quite easily to overshoot here. He runs a little bit wide onto the artificial grass. Probably takes a little bit too much there, and might lose a little bit of time. And into the sharp left-hand hairpin. And you know, and again, it's about getting those heavy braking zones right, and that's where you can gain and lose time. I mean, again, in this particular part of the track, I do struggle. It's getting the braking right here, because if you don't, you throw yourself wide and you lose so much time. because it's actually more about it's about the second part here, isn't it? It's not about the first part of this corner. And it's when you learn these tracks, especially like tracks like Suzuka where you carry a lot more speed, it's important to learn which corners are the most important and getting that right exit out, and carrying as much speed as you can here as well into the left-hander. Again, if you run, you can run. It's quite easy to run wide there and you invalidate your lap. And into the final chicane. Here he goes, and his nice little exit, uses all the road as much as possible and starts to come across to the start finish line and sets a where is he? I'm being 2:12.6. That's not bad, actually. That's not bad. I think that's probably a couple of seconds off maybe what Mr. Parker might achieve, but we shall see.
Yeah, we will, and James Parker coming up towards the line right now for the Coach Dave Academy Porsche. It's going to be a 2:10.7, so just under 2 seconds quicker than the likes of Jonathan Bent. So around about what you were saying, Paul.
Yeah, it's I actually know what I'm talking about. Unbelievable.
He would be a commentator. Vicky Thompson goes third in the GT4s at the moment in the BMW, and then it's Joachim Svensson. Ooh, quite slow in the Alpine. But of course, a lot of these guys are going to be putting in banker laps first before they go for their proper flying laps. You want to get something on the board first before you even get into pushing the limits of what you can do with the car. Of course, some people, like James Parker, probably already going to be doing that on the banker lap. But of course, a lot of these guys, maybe not the experience that James Parker has. They won't be that confident on their
Jonathan
first lap
Bent is
out.
currently showing 800ths of a second up on his lap at the moment. So he's currently fourth, so he's finding some time in the Aston Martin. So he's lost a little bit of it, but he's still half a second up at present. It's kind of flitting between, half a second to 800ths of a second. So he might be able to get third here. I think second might be a little bit out of reach, but Kadahili's got into second. So again, it's the same as what we've seen in the previous rounds, isn't it? Mr. Parker getting pole and Bruno Kadahili, coming in second, and there's a second gap between those two as well. So
Billy Octane had his first lap invalidated. So, of course, he's the only GT4 so far, I believe, to have not set a lap time. And he's coming round at the moment. He should be on a valid lap this time round. He set a 2:12.5 on his invalid lap. Jonathan Bent, he will cross the line, but he won't improve, and he'll go round again.
He lost all that time. Must have lost that in the final sector, but
it's so easy to lose so much time here at Suzuka.
Yeah, that's just it, because a lot of tracks where you have long straights, if you get that momentum out, if you watch the time delta, you'll see you'll continue all the way down that straight. You are continuing to get time, and it's also, it works the other way. If you're losing time out of the straight, if you're not getting the exit that you so wish, then you'll continue to lose that down the straights as well. As Bruno Kadahili comes across the line and he gets within 6/10 of Mr. Parker and stays second place.
So Bruno Kadahili doing his best efforts to make sure he is as close to James Parker as possible. Eric Engman is up on his time at the moment. He crosses the line, and he does set a 2:11.9, but it's not going to count, so that was obviously an invalid lap. And he will have to go around again. Vicky Thompson and James Parker have returned to the pit lane. Billy Octane has completed a valid lap this time round.
So currently, Joachim Svensson not looking too great. He's coming in 7th and 3 seconds down, but he's on a faster lap where he's up about a second at the moment. So hoping to get a little bit closer to Jonathan Bent in 6th.
Yeah, Joachim Svensson up on his time. The Alpine's been a very interesting car in the GT4 category. For me, I think a lot of people, when they first saw it coming into ACC, probably, dismissed it as a bit of a joke. You know, thought that, oh, look at the size of the little thing. It won't hold its own. But I have to say, in the GT4 Championship that I've had the pleasure of commentating on alongside George Smith, the Alpine's been a surprise package, especially in the right hands. I mean, this car has pace. Don't let it fool you that deceiving little car it can be. Same as the Ginetta as well. The Ginetta, it has pace around a lot of these circuits. It is obviously a bit handicapped on some of the circuits with really long straights where the top speed kind of conks out a bit. But on some of the more twisty circuits, the Ginetta and the Alpine...
He's currently 1.4 up, 1.5 up, so he might get 6th position here off Jonathan Bentz.
He might do. He'll come up towards the timing line now, and Joachim Svensson, he will jump up. He'll go to 4th.
Oh, wow. Nicely done. That's better for him, isn't it?
212.4 from the Alpine driver.
Oh.
He's going to go off and into the walls, so pushing the limits of what he could take.
Yeah. I noticed the rear end was a little bit loose as we start to see movement from the GT3s now.
Yes, we do. The GT3s starting to make their way out on track. Of course, the overlap period has begun. And of course, that means that they can start making their way out on track. They can't overtake any GT4 cars currently on a hot lap. And, of course, all the GT4 cars currently on a hot lap will have to return to the pit lane as soon as they have finished their lap. And I think, looking at the moment, Jonathan Bentz is the only GT4 currently on a lap. And he is, but he's just gone off on the exit of Spoon.
I was about to say, he was up and then suddenly he wasn't. So I had imagined something had gone on there as you cut to him. So, that's unfortunate.
So we're looking at Frank Pedrozzini. He is one of the Audi drivers we have here tonight, the number 3 Audi. And of course, he's going to be looking to see what he can do in qualifying at the moment. If I have a look at the championship standing, I can actually see that Frank Pedrozzini is all the way down in 11th.
These guys here are a little bit close to each other. I think they need to start thinking about spreading out a little, just not to compromise each other's laps. These 4 drivers. So hopefully, as they start to get towards the end of the lap, they start to space out, especially the Porsche behind Pedrozzini. Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, I mean, they've only got 10 minutes, so they need to make the most of it. So, like I say, we don't want to compromise each other's laps. So they're starting to space out a little bit. Pedrozzini continues on his way as he's got a GT4 just up ahead. And whoa, there we go. The Porsche's not predicted that at all. I don't know who that was in the Porsche. Is that Conway?
Ooh,
what car number is it?
I think that was 24, was it?
Oh, well, Hellman, yeah.
Hellman, the number 24.
Coming as he comes out of the pit. So, yeah, the GT4 kind of was a little bit in the way there, and that's a bit unfortunate. As we're now looking at Stefan Lemke in the Boatley, as it's affectionately known. I love that this colour combination he's got with the black front and the yellow rear. As we're we're in the final sector around Suzuka. I'll be honest, I love Suzuka. Oh, sorry, is it? All right, yeah. I love Suzuka, but I can never remember the blooming corner names. Never.
Well,
terrible.
I can take you through them if you'd like, Paul.
Yeah, go on. Let's do that, Ryan. Take us through the corner names.
So Stefan Lemke for T3 Esports Racing, the 379 Bentley. He will start his first flying lap of the GT3 qualifying session. He'll go past the start-finish straight. He'll go into the first corner, aptly named First Corner. Going around here, technically 2 corners, but they count as 1 according to the Suzuka's official track map. Now into the Snake Asses. And of course, you've got to be so committed. Carry as much speed as you can, as high in the gears as you'll dare. Some people drop down to 2nd through some of these corners. Some people keep it in 3rd. The Bentley staying in 3rd. He'll come out of the anti-bank curve and into the Dunlop curve, going uphill now. You've got to be so committed, as Paul said earlier. Keep your foot on the throttle as much as you can. And then he comes up to two of my favourite corners, the Degners. Goes through the first one, light touch of the brakes, then through the second Degner, goes as wide as he dares, not too wide to invalidate his lap. And now he comes up towards the hairpin. Nice and late on the brakes, get tight to the apex and make sure you get a really good drive up the hill here. So much time to be gained or lost. He'll come through 200R here, completely flat in these GT3, GT4 cars that you'll see on track tonight. And then he comes up to Spoon Curve, double apex on this corner. There's the first one. Don't go too wide on the middle of the corner, then cut back in so tight for the second apex. Don't go too wide on the exit, you'll invalidate your lap. And then keep it pinned as you go all the way down the back stretch, past the old pit lane, and coming up towards the most famous corner on the track. It's 130R. How committed is he? Just a slight lift off, doesn't hit the brakes as he goes through the corner. Now he'll come up towards the Casio chicane to complete the lap. Nice on the entry, good on the exit as well. Keep committed over to the right-hand side of the track. Get a nice drive out and put your car straight towards the end of the lap. And Stefan Lemke will cross the line. He will go 11th overall, and it's a 2:08.
He lost a bit of time there, didn't he, on the Spoon Curve? He didn't quite keep the... You know, you talked about the two apexes. He kind of was a little bit wide on the second apex there, and then on the exit ran a little bit wide and would have lost a bit of time. As we just got a 1:58.6 from Pfeffer, which is, you know, Tobias Pfeffer, you know, pole man from last round, and he's currently sitting pretty in pole with Mooney, car number 11, 3 tenths behind him in second place.
So there is Raymond Mooney, of course, and he's going to be challenging Samir Brahimi for the championship honours here tonight. Of course, Samir Brahimi at the moment down in 5th place, behind the likes of Ismail Lebrec. And I was speaking to Ismail Lebrec earlier today, as I do tend to talk to a lot of the Lamborghini drivers around RCI and various other communities. And he was saying to me here tonight, he didn't even know he was going to be here tonight. It's he's actually quite fortunate. He managed to negotiate being able to represent in the last round. And he said to me that, you know, the Lamborghini doesn't do too well here at Suzuka. It doesn't have a very favourable BOP here, but he said he's still going to look for a good result here. He still thinks he has some decent pace. And I have to say, Pfeffer on pole, Lebrec in 4th at the moment in qualifying. It's not looking too bad so far for these two.
No, it's not. And unfortunately, Mooney we're currently watching him. It isn't up. I don't believe he's up on his time. Might be an outlap. So because I'm not seeing any time delta on the timing screens in front of me. Yeah, he's on an outlap because he's a 3-minute lap. So the Bentley that was ahead has kindly let him past. As another car's exiting the pit, so hopefully that car will observe the blue flags when he gets shown. As we look at Pedrozzini, who's moved up into 16th position and is second to last in the GT3 category at the moment, as things stand. So Mooney is on his lap and he's currently 10th up at the moment. We're still quite a way of the lap to go, but he's just lost that time according to the timing screens. As we look at Ryan's favourite driver, Ismail Lebrec in the Lamborghini, he's currently in 4th position, 6 tenths off pole. Not a bad time, considering that, you know, he's saying that it's not necessarily favourable here. I think he'd be pleased with that. It's probably one of his better qualifying sessions so far. I know there's still just over 3.5 minutes to go, so guys could go faster as the rubber goes down, but that's got to be probably his best qualifying yet, isn't it? Isn't it?
I would have to double check the statistics on that one, but
because I don't think he's qualified that high up. He's had good races, but he might have done a 5th or 6th. But
yeah, I think you are correct. One of the I kind of feel, I mean, He's a Lamborghini driver, so obviously I'm gonna have a bit
You
of
don't
bias.
say. You don't mention it. No, I don't know what you're on about. Yeah.
But Ismail Lebrec, though, right? We saw an amazing drive out of him at both Monza and Kyalami.
Yes.
I mean, Kyalami in those conditions, that Lamborghini should never have done as well.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And he had a disconnect at Silverstone. Obviously, that denied him some points in the championship, of course. And he would have had a podium on that race.
He would have done.
And this is one of the things you've got to consider. Ismail Lebrec, currently 35 points off of Samir Ibrahimi. A podium would have been worth about 40.
Oh, sorry. Can I just point out that Mooney's just gone fastest? I was watching his deltas, and I didn't want to interrupt you because you were talking about Lebrec, but Mooney's just set a 158.5.
Well, Raymond Mooney setting down the gauntlet. He knows where he needs to be come the end of this race. But yeah, Ismail Lebrec, a podium would have been worth at least 40 points.
Yeah.
Ismail Lebrec could have been leading the championship coming into the final round.
Yeah.
Had he not had that disconnect, and that,
does that upset you? Does it upset you, Ryan?
It must upset him. I mean, you'd be upset as a driver, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You'd be frustrated, but the thing is, just like you can't. At the same time, you can't dwell on it, and I think that's that's the kind of the crossover between sim racing and real life racing is that you've got to focus on the next event. If you're still if part of your consciousness or your focus is still about that disconnect or whatever it may be, or an accident that's taken place. I raced in a league event on Sunday, and a part of me still a little bit annoyed at myself about a mistake I made, but I've got to get over it because I've got a race to do this Sunday. I've got nearly 2.5 hours at Spa to do, and I need to focus on that. And it'll be the same for Ismail, and you're right. But I guess the thing is, like, when you go through history, if we talk about Hamilton Rosberg winning the World Championship F1, the amount of failures that Hamilton had that season, you could argue is why Rosberg won the championship. Some may disagree with that opinion. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it, and I'm sticking with it. But it's the same here, right? Ismail coulda, woulda, coulda. That's life, mate. That's just it. As frustrating as it can be. As fortunately, he's just been pushed down to 5th position as Chris Hoke sets a faster time. Who's now 3/10 off. It's close up there, isn't it? It's close.
It is, and Tobias Pefeffer, he wants to change all that as well. He's 2/10 up on his lap time. He could still take pole position off of Raymond Mooney as it stands. Samir Ibrahimi's put his car up to 3rd though, so he's definitely not backing down from this situation. There's a clear distinction here between the top 5 and the rest of the field in pace, it seems, tonight. Maybe that's just down to conditions. Maybe the race will reflect something very, very different, as it often does. But it seems to me like Tobias Pefeffer is going to have the pace to take pole position. The time is over in qualifying. He will go provisional pole with a 158.452.
It's impressive. I mean, Mooney is on a lap. He's a 10th down on his best at the moment. As we crack to Chris Hoke, who is 2/10 up at the moment, so he might be able to grab 3rd at this rate. But Samir Ibrahimi is also on a lap, but he's not up or down, so he's probably about equal of his current best. So can Chris gain to 3rd position? Yes, he can. So there we go. As we, like I say, excuse me, it looks like Raymond Mooney and Samir might not be making any gains, but anything can happen, especially into the huge braking zone as we come into the final chicane. Samir trying to look for a good exit, using as much of the road as possible. Probably using a little bit too much there, perhaps. Might lose a little bit of time. Yeah, he did there, actually. He did lose a little bit of time, and unfortunately won't.
No, he will.
He will
gain enough time, and he will jump Chris Hoke to 3rd on the grid.
Unbelievable.
30 thousandths of a second.
Yeah.
And that is going to be the end of qualifying. Tobias Pefeffer will take 2 consecutive pole positions coming into the final round of the championship. Raymond Mooney will line up alongside him on the front row.
How close it is between Ibrahimi and Hoke there. I mean, that's just I mean, the fact is that less than half a second split the top four. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, it
That's
definitely
impressive.
is. And as we wait for the session to tick over, let's have a look at the championship standings, should we?
Yeah, go on.
So
Do
Sami
it.
Brahimi leads the way, 199 points, followed by Raymond Mooney with 186. This is the championship battle for the GT3 class. These are the two names you need to keep an eye on the most. David Frederich has an outside chance at the championship, but realistically not a protagonist in the championship battle coming into the final round here. Ismail Lebrec, 164 points. I've already said my piece on where he could have been in this championship battle. Justin Hartkemper with 156. Stefan Lemke, 150. Mikhail Sundstrom in 7th with 130. He's had some really good results in the last couple of races. That has definitely bumped his place up the order significantly. Adrian Probst, who looked like he could be a championship contender after the first race, has dropped off the pace a bit. He's level on points with Benny Hielman. And Jaroslav Honzik rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, Prost and Honzik aren't here this evening either, are they? So neither driver are taking part. So that's their points total, isn't it? So.
Yep, here's the rest of the top 20 for the GT3 class. Frank Pedrozzini, Josef Varga, Harry Conway, Lubomir Zeman, Tinko van der Velde, Simon Lindholm, Marco Ripper, Ossi Takamaki, Alexander Guglia, and Tobias Befeffer. Obviously, he won and got pole position last time out at Zolder. So, of course, he's going to be all the way down there because he's only completed one race. And then we get on to the rest of the field. Martin Ulrich, Anthony Guarda, Stefan Zero, Chris Hooker, and Martin Schumacher will round out the rest of the GT3 field. The GT4s, James Parker, Bruno Cadilli, they're the only guys realistically in the GT4 championship hunt. It's realistically just James Parker. But Bruno Cadilli can still win it mathematically, and he's got to hold on to that hope here tonight if he wants any chance of the GT4 championship. Billy Octane, Joachim Svensson, and Joe McCauley, who is unfortunately not present tonight, will round out the rest of the top 5. And the rest of the GT4 field, Valentin Barrier, Victoria Thompson, Jerome Remmers, Eric Engman, Jonathan Bentz, Nicholas Roach, Brock McDood, and Michael Springer. Daniel Bradford and Dustin Vust, still no appearances to date in the championship in the Camaros.
Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, I couldn't hear you. Sorry, I was just suddenly going a little bit quiet. I wasn't sure we were still broadcasting, so
I think
apologies.
it's typical Discord issues.
Yeah. So it's we've got just 3.5 minutes to the race start. Are we doing predictions this time? Are you?
I tell you what, Paul, you're so keen every single race, aren't you, for predictions? But before we do get into predictions, though, Nick Setnick, I've heard you've just joined us in the commentary box.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry I had to miss qualify, but I'm here to watch a pretty exciting race here. Looks like we're going to have some nighttime action at Suzuka. I managed to catch most of qualifying there. Some really just blazing times coming out of our pole sitter, Pfeffer, sitting in that Lambo, the 222. And yeah, I think this is going to be an excellent race today.
So we're here on the grid, just under 3 minutes to go. 16 degrees track temperature. It's 8 p.m. in the evening. It's a lovely night race at Suzuka. And Paul, final race of the season. Who've you got for the win tonight?
I'm gonna go with the championship leader tonight. I'm gonna go with Samir Ibrahimi. I know he didn't. He's had some. I think he'll wanna solidify his championship. Currently sitting third on the grid. I think he'll have good race pace here, and that's what it's about, right? It's all well and good having a fast lap in you, but it's about having that consistency. And for me, that's something that he's got. And last time out didn't have that luck, and and I'm hoping this time out that luck will be there with him.
All right, so Samir Brahimi is going to be Paul's pick for tonight. Nick, I'm going to have to ping it over towards you. Who's your pick for tonight?
You know, I would wander into the box right when we're doing predictions. That is just my luck. But I mean, we've seen excellent racecraft this entire series. Lots of excellent drivers out on the field. Obviously, James Parker having an absolute blowout in the GT4 class down there. But I mean, if I'm gonna put my money on somebody, I'm gonna kind of go a little bit of a curveball here, and hear me out. I think that Hartkemper's going to have an excellent race. Now, I know that he's down in 11th place right now, but from previous races, I have personally, little things that I remember from those races, commentating over them. Hartkemper has been making some just really awesome overtakes and has, just shown excellent racecraft and stuff. So, I mean, probably not pulling out a win, and his points in the championship, he's currently in 5th place in the GT3 class. But I think he's going to be showing us some excellent racing tonight, and that's what I show up for.
Yeah, so Justin Hartkemper, next pick for tonight, one to watch out for, starting in 11th, of course, 5th in the championship, as you mentioned. He has had a podium this season as well, actually, Justin Hartkemper, so, definitely one of the guys to keep an eye on. And as we are just about 20 seconds away until the start of the formation lap, I guess it's time that I stop stalling for time and I get on with my prediction. And Here we go. Just hear me out for 1 minute here, right? It's not a Lamborghini.
What?
Now look.
Shut the front door.
I haven't been kidnapped and replaced by someone else. Before you make those assumptions. It's not gonna be a Lamborghini tonight. But I tell you who it is gonna be. It's gonna be Raymond Mooney. I think he's gonna take the fight to Samir Brahimi today. I think he wants that championship a bit more than some of us may be given the credit. And I think he's really gonna go for it here tonight. And I think Samir Brahimi, he's got his teammate Chris Hooker starting right behind him. But there's no team's championship here. Chris knows that Samir's fighting for a championship, but Chris isn't going to care about that. Chris is going to care about finishing ahead of his teammate for bragging right. So there's going to be no team orders going on with, Samir saying to Chris, oh, could you defend me from the guys behind? And Samir wouldn't ask that anyway. He's not that kind of guy. But there's going to be none of that going on. It's just going to be pure hard racing right to the flag. And I just get the feeling Mooney's going to have the edge over Samir tonight. So we've all given our predictions. But who are you guys cheering for? Seen someone rooting for Ismail Lebrec, someone rooting for James Parker. So obviously we've got some people already in the chat cheering for some of their favourite drivers. But we do want to hear who all of you guys are supporting. It's always nice to know who has got support from home. And of course, maybe if you're not supporting anyone yet, maybe you can find a driver here today to support for future series.
Yeah, just roll the dice and choose somebody randomly,
Just don't choose Billy Octane. He'll get a drive-through penalty guaranteed.
This race here, you talk about Chris Hooker being behind his teammate Samir. In all seriousness, after the formation lap, we go down the start-finish straight, and it's a long start-finish straight until you go into the first corner, and that's a heavy braking zone, isn't it? And drivers will want to try and keep that as clean as possible, but as we know, this is racing, right? And anything can happen.
Just Astrid in the chat post up. Rooting for Chris to finish the race for once, so that's some pressure on Chris from the viewers.
That's
is that his wife or girlfriend?
Yes.
Or
yes, it
right.
is. There's some internal roasting going on in the Hooker family at the moment.
That's a burn. Yeah.
And hopefully Chris can finish a race tonight. He didn't have a great race out at Silverstone. He unfortunately got taken out towards the end. Or he didn't get taken out. He had an incident. Is the more correct term. Towards the end of the Zolder race. So hopefully Chris can get to the end tonight. He's had a bit of a difficult season, and he'll be hoping that he can definitely pull home a good result. We're on the back straight. We're only a few corners away. We're only moments away from the start of the final race of the season. And I have to say, I don't think we could have picked a better venue at a better time to finish off the season under the lights.
Yeah, absolutely. That shot right there coming down the back straight with all the lights up, that was excellent. That was desktop background worthy to me.
Yeah, especially with the cars snaking as they are to keep trying to get the warmth into the tyres and warmth into the brakes as well, because you're going to need those for the first corner. So yeah, as the cars start to approach the start-finish line.
So here we are for the final time of the multi-class GT series here at RCI. They line up 2 by 2. It's Tobias Pefeffer on pole. It's Raymond Mooney, second in the championship, second on the grid. Samir Brahimi, the championship leader, starts third alongside his teammate Chris Huka. The 5 red lights as they crawl towards the start line for the final time this season. It's round 5 at Suzuka. The lights are out. And Tobias Pefeffer will get away well, but Raymond Mooney seems to be keeping pace with the Lamborghini on the start. Pefeffer will have the inside line. He will easily take the lead into the first corner. And I think the Audis behind of Chris Huka and Samir Brahimi are already having a go at each other.
Gets an excellent start out of Pfeffer, grabbing the inside line. That just worked out for him, but Mooney not gonna let him just walk away with this as they fight their way to the end of the S's. This is going to be a heated battle for the entire length of this race. I feel like Mooney is not gonna let this slide by any means. Pfeffer coming out of nowhere and placing this excellent time, getting pole position here, and I think this is gonna be an excellent battle to watch today.
Yeah, and some clean racing there into the first corner, which is really good to see. I don't think there was I didn't get any sense of any carnage behind us either. As Raymond Mooney is alongside, or trying to get alongside Pfeffer, coming out of the hairpin. But that Lamborghini showing some amazing straight line pace.
Yeah, the Lamborghini coming out of the corner so well, but the Porsche has pace around here. And Raymond Mooney's going to be looking to put that into full effect here tonight. I did say he means business. He knows this championship is well up for grabs. And I think finishing in first with Samir Brahimi in third is not going to be enough to win the championship here tonight. He will probably have to pick up points for fastest lap and hope that Samir maybe drops another place. Samir looking on the back of the Porsche now. It's going to be all to play for the next hour and 13 minutes.
Yeah, that was interesting seeing Ibrahimi and Hoke coming through in both their Audis with the same livery going into the S's. That was an excellent shot, kind of rounding out the top 4 currently, which are seeming to almost separate themselves a little bit from the pack. Not quite, but I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen. But you can see through each corner, Mooney just absolutely has the pace on Pfeffer, but Pfeffer's been playing super defensively and has been able to hold Mooney at bay, but just a little slip up could let Mooney right past, just because he has the pace out of each of these corners.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a quadruple there. They're kind of breaking it away, but Lebrec is kind of just hanging on, car number 67 in the Lamborghini. So, and as you look at the timings, you know, they're all 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths behind each other. So all might be kind of spaced out. You don't want to do anything too rash at the moment. Probably just watching each other's lines, learning where potential opportunities are gonna come to them. Because as we know, certain cars are stronger around certain parts of the track. And like you say, the Porsche is a strong car, but then so is the Lamborghini, I think, down the start-finish straight. So again, you know, looking in the hairpin, the Porsche looks particularly strong in this section. So yeah, some great opportunities will come. Don't want to do anything rash. Don't want to throw it away. As we look at Justin Hartkemper in the Audi now, a little bit further back in 12th position. There's a huge gaggle of cars here, little kind of trios, quadruples. So yeah, some great opportunities. As I think there's just a move that's just been made up ahead there, the Mercedes of Simon Lindholm. Just went past, is that Varga? Yeah, so he takes him on the left-hand side there. A little bit of contact, looks like a little bit of contact. Stewards might take a little look at that, because he's run wide there. So, but other than that, we haven't really seen much contact between these drivers so far. But we still got an hour and a minute to go.
Varga's looking to take that place back there. The Aston Martin looking very, very good around here, and it does go well here at Suzuka, and Seth Varga will take the place back from Simon Lindholm. Someone was off at the chicane. And who is that?
A really good question.
That looked like, was that an Aston Martin, maybe?
I don't know. I'll try and work it out for you.
Well, as you go and do that, Seth Varga and Simon Lindholm are going to go side by side into the first corner. Varga's going to hold the position right now. He's going to keep himself in the top 10. But my word, that was... I saw an incredible accident, or not accident, but almost an accident in a GT4 race last night in a South African series, and I got a few flashbacks to that when I just saw that car off at the chicane.
Yeah, actually, I believe that was Pedrozzini losing it through the chicane, and now he's trying to fight his way through the GT4 pack, which has, kind of separated themselves from the GT3s now. We've had a couple of laps for them to push into their pace, and now he's going to be fighting through traffic on lap 3. That's not something that you want to be doing if you're in the GT3 class, but it's something that we've seen, and it adds a lot of flavor to these mixed class races.
Definitely does, and Harry Conway, he's looking to add another position to his tally of overtakes so far this season. And he's following Alexander Gugliat at the moment in the number 18 Nissan, the Nissan on home turf. He's not finding it easy to get past that Nissan. Of course, it has a lot of grunt in a straight line, that car. Not too great through the corners. But once you get it on the straights, its straight line speed and its power out of the corners is absolutely incredible. And it looks like Simon Lindholm must have made a mistake, because Mikael Sundström in the BMW has managed to get past him. It's all the same for the top 5 up front, though.
Yeah, it's looking like the Porsche absolutely has the grunt coming out of the corners around Suzuka. I would not be surprised if we see an excellent pass coming out of the spoon from either of the Porsche drivers here, just because they do have that incredible pace coming through them.
So it was Lemke that was off at the final chicane. So,
it was a Bentley.
It was a Bentley, car 379.
I mean, if there was any more terrifying a car to come flying through the chicane, it could not be.
Pedrozzini was already behind the battle. He'd already had some kind of incident prior to that we saw on the shot.
Well, Harry Conway's just been turned around by Seth Varga, and he was trying to get right onto the back of the Nissan. And the Aston Martin just spun him around, and unfortunately that's going to cost Harry Conway a lot of time. He's trying to get back on track.
That's the thing, when you get spun, isn't it? You're waiting for the traffic to go by, and that's where you lose
and here we go.
a lot of time.
On the back of the Nissan. The Nissan has a little squirm. Ooh, almost loses it completely. Harry Conway and, Seth Varga.
Going for a gap that didn't really exist, really, didn't he? Really,
yeah, it's a gap that never really materialised. Maybe hoping that Conway had a much better drive than he did, but he couldn't get any further up on the track because, of course, the Nissan was in front of him. And then
just an update from the live stream, Varga did actually wait that whole amount of time, so he also lost a lot of time there. Doing the right thing, knowing that he caused that incident and caused Harry Conway those positions. So you'll see Varga now is actually behind Conway after that incident.
It's good to see. Good sportsmanship there to accept responsibility for an incident. I mean, he probably will still receive a penalty, probably a 5-second penalty, because of the fact that Harry Conway has lost a lot of positions because of that accident. In fact, he went from, I believe it was 7th place now down to 14th. So
yeah,
Varga will still probably receive a 5-second penalty for that. But of course, that could have been up to as bad as a drive-through if he hadn't given that position back. So it's good to see, he's being considerate about the fact that a penalty probably will be applied, and it could have been a lot worse if he hadn't waited to give that back.
It's a shame, because we saw only a couple of laps ago some great racing from Varga, but I just think he just went for an opportunity that really wasn't anything to go for, and like you say, that Nissan up ahead was losing a bit of traction and just kind of causing a bit of a distraction there for both drivers, I feel.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Paul.
Yeah.
We've lost Chris Hooker.
Oh, blimey, we have.
He's disappeared off the timing board. He is not registering a lap time at the moment on our timing sheet, so he is out of the race.
Well, I mean,
Possibly a disconnect. I mean,
I wasn't going to put a silver dollar on Astrid's comment, but here we go.
Oh. Well, Nick, now you've gone and done it, haven't you?
Oh man, that was.
Do you think she rebooted the router?
Oh man, I could just imagine.
I feel for Chris because I know him quite well. I get on with him quite well. He's he's had a torrid championship. Hasn't been able to race in the first 2 races. Has had problems in the first and second race that he's managed to race. He's come in for the last race of the season and now he's out of the race again.
As we're watching Raymond Mooney under a bit of trouble from, bit of pressure from Samir Ibrahimi as we're going into the final chicane. Oh, tap there.
Bit of a bump.
Bit of a bump, but it looks a bit weird. I don't know if it's because Samir Ibrahimi just got better drive, because you wouldn't expect the car to be on the brakes on the exit there. So
yeah, I don't think there was any intent in there whatsoever. Just a bit of
of course,
just a bit of a tap, and the stewards. The stewards will definitely look at that one though, because Samir on the inside.
Yeah.
See if we can go back. Here he is on the inside line. Mooney. Ooh, that's hard to judge actually.
It is hard.
It's on the exit.
Fortunately for the guys, they didn't take the car behind them out as well. So, but Astrid's just saying that she shouldn't have cursed him. So, yeah. Poor Chris.
I'm sure Chris won't see the funny side of it, but at least someone will see the funny side of it.
Yeah, definitely. The big development there is actually Ismail Lebrecht just sneaking right by as that incident happens. So now that is 2 Lamborghinis being your position 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Ismail Lebrecht, he's drove a fantastic season, it has to be said, bar the unfortunate disconnect he had at Silverstone that cost him a podium place. I've already mentioned how he could have been in the championship battle here today, and it's just... he just gets the job done, doesn't he? He's one of these drivers who goes about his business very quietly in the race. We saw it at Misano, we saw it at Kyalami. He doesn't make the headlines with super fantastic overtakes. He's not the centre of the action, but he gets things done.
Yeah, he does. He kind of just quietly goes on about his duty, doesn't he? And he's looking solid once again. I mean, he had a good qualifying, and he was there at the right opportunity when these guys had coming together. He was able to take advantage. So Pfeffer leads, Lebrecht second, Mooney third, and Ibrahimi fourth. At the moment, it does mean that Pfeffer is pulling away ever so slightly. I mean, he's heading towards 4 second. Well, now he is on a 4 second lead as I say that. So these guys, in very close proximity to each other, which is allowing Pfeffer just to run away with it a little bit in the Lambo.
Billy Octane's been in the pit lane for a couple of laps now, so I'm getting the feeling that that's probably race and season over for the 333 Camaro. Don't know what happened to that car exactly, but judging by the fact that he's 2 laps down on the GT4 field, probably says curtains on his season, which is a shame for Billy Octane, running 3rd in the championship in GT4. He'll be hoping that he can hold on to that place in the championship, and as I say that, he has come back out of the pit lane, so maybe it was damage related and he had a lot of damage to fix, but he is going to be a few laps down. But if he can finish the race, he'll still pick up points, and that should be able to maintain his position of 3rd in the championship for the GT4 cars. We're currently looking at the championship leader in the 49 Audi. His teammate is out of the race, but he's still very much in the championship fight. His rival ahead of him, but as it stands, Samir would still be champion.
So that brings up a kind of interesting point, is that, how hard does Ibrahimi have to really fight for positions here if he can be off of first position and still have enough points to win this thing? I mean, how low can he go? Is it third or fourth that he can still win?
Well, as you say that, Nick, I am checking the permutations right now. I'll run the numbers for you. I probably should have run the numbers earlier.
Well, I mean,
yeah, you could argue that.
That was definitely a bit mean of me to make Ryan do math right in the middle of on the spot commentary.
I can tell you right now, Nick. I've done the permutations fairly quickly, as you can see. Samir Brahimi trying to line up a move on Raymond Moody coming into the first corner. The Audi's going to be on the outside line. Is he going to have the pace to go around the outside of the Porsche? Moody will hold the inside line. And slight bit of contact between the two of them, but Moody has held on to third place. Samir Brahimi flashing the lights, he's not too happy about that. But onto the permutations. A win is 58 points, second is 53, and third is 49. So obviously Mooney sitting on 49 points for this race so far. Samir Brahimi sitting on 46 for P4. So that would mean, as it stands right now, obviously Samir is still champion by 10 points. If Mooney finishes third, he needs Samir Ibrahimi to finish in 8th.
Wow.
So, as it stands, it's not really happening at the moment for Raymond Mooney. He needs Samir Ibrahimi to drop down, well, 4 more places.
Well, I mean, as we love to say, we have another hour of racing here. Anything could happen. But I mean, it sounded like Ibrahimi might have this in the bag, and he just kind of has to hang in there and not have anything crazy happen to him. So I'm curious if that means that we're going to see kind of like a safer side to Ibrahimi. He's not going to be fighting for any positions trying to that would cost him the race. I mean, if he has that much cushion to work with, then he should be really using it to its fullest extent.
Possibly, but we've seen him. He's already tried to get past Mooney. But I just want to point out, Hartkemper's in the pits, currently in 21st position now in the Audi. But going back to the comment you made about Octane being in the pits, he did have an accident. He had a moment coming out of the second part of Spoon, and he hit the wall there, and then he went into the pits to get repaired. So that's why Billy Octane in the Chevrolet went into the pits. So yeah, but going back to your comments about Ibrahimi, he's a racer, and as you can see, he really wants to get past Mooney. But you could argue that you could just stay where you are and just take the points. But I think he wants the win, as most racers will. As we now switch our focus to Bruno Cadilli in the Aston Martin GT4, car number 788, who's hanging on to the back of Josh Parker, isn't he? 1.5. That's decent at the moment. But he's got Engman very closely behind him, 0.7 of a second. So the top 3 are on the same bit of tarmac.
Yeah, Bruno Cadilli gonna do everything he can to keep this GT4 championship fight alive. It may turn out to not matter at the end, but you've got to keep it alive for as long as you can. You've got to believe that something could happen. How many times have we seen it this season where a GT3 and a GT4 car have had a bit of a coming together on track when getting lapped? And in fact, it was James Parker that almost got taken out at Vale at Silverstone by a GT3 car trying to lap him. I mean, he was so close to a horrific amount of damage that definitely would have put him way down the order in terms of points scoring for that race. And anything can still happen. Bruno Cadilli has just got to make sure that he keeps his race clean. He keeps himself in the position to take the lead of the race if it were to come. And he's just got to hope that James Parker doesn't have a great race today.
Yeah, sorry, and I was just bringing your attention to Hartkemper. So Hartkemper also had an off moment, which is why he went into the pits. So his car went rear-ended into the barrier. It didn't look too much like a huge impact, but he obviously took the decision to clear the mandatory pit stop, repair whatever damage he had, and carry on.
Yeah, it's good to see. We always like seeing people finish the race, even if they have damage, even if it might seem like all is lost. You do get points for finishing. And as I say that, Josef Varga has received a 5-second time penalty, and I know exactly what that time penalty is for because I've just been handed the stewarding report. and that'll be for the contact that he had with Harry Conway, which caused Conway to lose about 7 positions. So, of course, that penalty coming rather predictably, but like I said before, if he hadn't given the place back, I could have easily seen that being a 15-second penalty to even a drive-through, perhaps. So, good on Youssef Farga for giving that place back. And, of course, he's now got a 5-second time penalty to deal with. And, well, one of the new options just added to ACC, in fact, is that Youssef Farga will serve that 5-second penalty when he comes in to do his pit stop. It won't apply at the end of the race anymore.
Yeah, I was actually just about to mention that. That was a update that came in for the sim this week, actually, and we're going to be able to see that in action. You'll actually see that 5-second penalty clear when Varga pulls in for his mandatory pit stop. It'll just tack it onto the end of that pit stop and serve it, and then we don't have to be doing the math all the way to the end of the race, and that's great for the viewers at home. So after all the pit stops go through, any early penalties like that are going to be cleared up, and you'll be able to see an accurate time board for the rest of the race, which would be great for our viewers at home.
That is, yeah, it's a huge addition, not necessarily about gameplay, but from a stewarding and spectator point of view, it's great. I'd just like to point out Nissan car number 18 for Google has been in the pits for quite some time. He had contact with Lindholm. So it looked like Guglia was moving over to the left. Lindholm didn't really read that, and the guys have had contact. Guglia's come off worse and has been in the pits for quite some time. I don't know if he's going to continue, but he's been sat in there. He's now 3 laps down. So, but it'll be interesting to see what decision the stewards make of that.
Yeah, the steward's going to be busy tonight indeed. Youssef Varga has got past Harry Conway, and he got past cleanly this time round. And of course, Harry Conway will know that he has that 5-second time penalty to serve, so if he can stay with the Aston Martin, should be able to jump him in the pit stops. Myself as a driver, I would always prefer being able to serve the pit stop, the penalty, in the pit stop, rather than have it on at the end of the race. I always like to know exactly where I am on track in regards to all the other cars. I don't like all this, it's a bit of a guessing game of, how close will someone be to me at the end of the race kind of thing. I'd prefer to just serve it when I have a pit stop, and then go to the end. I know exactly where I am, I know exactly what I've got to make up, and everyone else around me knows the score as well.
That's assuming you don't get any further penalties after your pit stop.
Yeah, that is assuming, yeah. So Harry Conway hasn't quite given up on this just yet, and Hillman is just in front of these guys, in fact, and I think Youssef Varga and Harry Conway probably going to be looking to get past that pink and blue Porsche. Ooh, Harry Conway on the inside of Youssef Varga, and now he's spun the Aston at Spoon. Oh my word!
And then he just kind of takes off. Oh man, okay.
Well,
I hate saying this. That looked like a little bit of a revenge hit. Just kind of a tough go. I mean, like, he's gonna go for the inside. He saw a tiny opening, but like not really, and then dives for it.
Yeah, to be fair, it's very similar to the move that Varga did on him a few laps ago, where he's going for a window that isn't going to be open, or a door even. It's going to shut because Varga's going to be looking for the apex, right? So what? It's a bit of a bold move to make from both drivers. It's just a bit disappointing that Conway's decided that off he goes and he's off. So he's probably going to get a harsher penalty than what Varga's got right now.
Yeah, I mean, the full stewarding team is going to be looking at that, so he's not really saving himself from anything. So I'm interested to see what the stewarding team thinks about that whole fiasco.
Well, I have to say the stewards aren't having an easy time around. I mean, Zolder was actually a surprise for me. I thought Zolder was going to be Wreckfest 2.0, and it was actually really clean. I had a look at the stewarding report after the race, and they were like, yeah, it was fairly quiet. And, Youssef Varga having a bit of trouble now. Might have damage on that car from that contact with Conway. And you know, I had a read of the steering report, and they said to me, yeah, it was all very, very clean at Zolder, and I thought, that's a bit unusual, isn't it? I mean, you know, we were expecting
Quite a
Zolder,
tight track, isn't it?
we were expecting Zolder to be the worst of it, and it was actually the cleanest race we'd had that season.
I think that just goes into like the psychology of it. You know, people know that, you know, Zolder's going to be a tighter track, and making moves is going to be dangerous. So that might have actually just kind of forced their hand into being a little cleaner than even usual. You know.
Yeah, a little bit more cautious perhaps, because especially as well, you know, what you have to remember about Suzuka, it is a high speed track, isn't it? So because your reactions have to be that little bit quicker as well, a little bit sharper, you do tend to see more instances at tracks where more speed is carried. So I think that's just the nature, you know, and round a tighter track, people, I mean, we all do it. We make stupid mistakes when we're sim racing. I get a little bit carried away and think, and then I look back and go, why wasn't I patient? Why didn't I wait? He was obviously struggling. If I just kept applying pressure, the other guy would have made a mistake, and I wouldn't have got a penalty because I made a dive and, you know, and tried to go for something that wasn't there. But yeah, we all do it. So it's very easy to sit here and say, oh, you shouldn't have made that move, but I probably would have done exactly the same thing. As we're looking at Simon Lindholm, car number 336 in the Mercedes AMG. And we've got a GT4 back marker around us as well, so that's adding a bit of it.
Ooh, that was getting spicy.
Bruno Cadilli in the middle there.
I mean, and you just got to see just a mouthful of lights coming at you that fast. That's got to be a lot coming through. He's like, no, I'm off to the side. I'm fine. Why are you doing that?
That was tight. That was very, very tight. And you know, and Lindholm is chasing down Frederic and would have lost a little bit of time there as well. But it seems to be a man that's got a bit of pace right now. I'm also trying to keep an eye on Justin Hartkemper, who's currently in 15th position, already cleared his mandatory pit stop, as we now switch to Samir Ibrahimi, who's under pressure from Mr. Raymond Mooney as he goes on the inside.
Well.
They did well to avoid each other there. It's a bit of a bold move to try and go side by side into that final chicane. You could argue that was Mooney slightly ahead there, so maybe Ibrahimi should be giving that position back.
I think Mooney overshot his braking point.
It's hard, isn't it?
I think he was on the inside. I think he overshot his braking point, so that's why he went deep into the first part of the corner. And then, of course, Samir Ibrahimi has nowhere to go at that point but off track.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
But of course, Samir has got past Mooney at some point off camera because Mooney was ahead. So obviously the championship leader now ahead on track.
I still just think this is so interesting that Ibrahimi's fighting for position so hard. I mean, when he has the points. So, you know, I would hate to see this turn south. You know, if Mooney's trying to fight for this position, kind of knock Ibrahimi out and take some damage or something. You know, that's just looking like extra stress that Ibrahimi doesn't really need to be worrying about.
It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't even need to be a takeout, though. I mean, I've seen people just push so hard that they've made a mistake and they've ended up in the wall. You know, it doesn't even need to be contact related. You know, you can make a mistake. These guys, you know, some of these guys are aliens, you know, ridiculously quick. Some of them SRO esports level drivers, but they can still make mistakes. And, you know, in fact, funny enough, I was doing a 5-hour of Suzuka Enduro not too long ago. And I watched Samir Ibrahimi at 130R, the corner we're approaching right now. I watched him get a bit too impatient behind another car, started fighting for a position a bit too hard, ended up in the wall. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. It can be mistakes sometimes. It doesn't have to be contact. It can just be pushing a bit too hard. And you're absolutely correct, Nick. I mean, if I was in this situation, I'd just be camping behind Mooney. You know, I wouldn't be too bothered, but of course, I don't think like Samir Ibrahimi, and that's probably why I don't race in SRO esports.
Well, I mean, there's always that, of course, but I mean, we've seen Mooney has incredible pace coming out of all of these corners. That Porsche just has the grunt to get to maintain that top end, and you know, if you see them side by side, you can see Mooney can just find the back end of Ibrahimi almost instantly around any corner where he has even a little bit of advantage. So I mean, it's the grunt is there. The Porsche can pass the Audi in a pretty substantial way around Suzuka. So it's just kind of looking for that opportunity where it's going to be a clean pass, and we're not going to see you know, like a corner dive bomb or anything like that.
Well, this is it, and I haven't seen Ibrahimi receive a penalty yet for the previous contact that they had. Don't forget, we've had that as well, where Ibrahimi spun Mooney round, which is why Lebrec is currently in second position, and because these guys are battling, Lebrec has pulled an 8.2 second gap between these guys. But I'm just looking back at the incident that we saw in the in the final chicane, and you're right, Mooney's completely missed his braking point. He's pulled out, and to be fair to him, he's only ahead of Ibrahimi at the apex of the corner because he's missed his braking point, and Ibrahimi is very, very nicely avoided turning in and turned the other way to avoid contact. So if it wasn't for Samir's reactions there, they would have come to blows again. So,
and this is something, obviously just a clarification for those at home as well. If it's a racing incident, we won't be told about it. If it's a racing incident, the stewards will not give us a report on it. So, you know, if we don't hear anything, I'd say within the next 5 minutes, because it's been a few laps now since that incident happened. I'd say if we don't hear anything in the last 5 minutes, it's probably been looked at, judged to be a racing incident, and it's been, you know...
We're talking about the previous contact, yeah?
The previous contact,
yeah. Okay.
So the one where Samir half-spun Mooney and Lebrec got past, yeah. So if we don't get a report on that within the next 5 minutes, I would say that it's been judged to be a racing incident. They'll have all the angles, they'll have had all the time to look it over, and you know, and they'll let us know what the verdict is. Of course, if it's a racing incident, the stewards won't tell us because there's no point. We can figure that out on our own. They only feel the need to tell us when there's a penalty involved. So, and in fact, as I say that, Jake Boswell's just popped into the stewarding box. He's got another piece of paper for it. Yeah, I have to say, Jake Boswell, I wish he'd do this by text. There's so many pieces of paper that we're wasting here with signatures all over I've got stacks of them.
And he's got handwriting like your local doctor, isn't he? So you can't read it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, if you look across the courtyard there's 7 stewards in that little box. I mean, they're shoulder to shoulder in there. I don't blame them at all.
Well, to be fair though, I mean, fortunately they're all wearing a mask. So, but yeah. Oh, there you go. Car 28. It's just got a 15-second penalty, so I'm sure you're going to tell us about that, aren't you?
Well, would you believe it? The incident with Harry Conway and Youssef Varga, where Conway went into the back of Varga and did not give the place back. That has been judged to have been Conway's fault, and he's been given a 15-second time penalty for his troubles. And of course, we did say that the penalty would be more severe if he didn't give the place back. That's what it's been. So you can see some of the differences in stewarding there as Ibrahimi's got a bit deep into the final chicane. Mooney's going to have the inside line coming out. Is he going to be able to take the position from Ibrahimi now through the final corner? They're going to be side by side as they come onto the front stretch. But yeah, Samir Ibrahimi, faster out of the exit, carries that pace. He'll go into turn 1 in the lead, and Raymond Mooney almost taking 3rd place back, and this is all just benefiting Ismail Lebrec out in front.
Yeah, who's you know, to credit where credit is due, he's only 5.7 seconds behind Pfeffer, which is impressive. I thought, you know, once he got second position, that gap was going to keep growing and growing and growing, but it's been pretty steady to his
it's actually to his down.
Credit. Yeah, it has just then. Where's the 15 seconds for Conway gone? He
has served it because he went into service mandatory pit stop. So there you
go. Yeah,
it's disappeared off the side.
That's actually something that I was worrying about because he was already in the pit lane when that penalty hit. So I was curious if it would tack that on, and it did. That was slick.
Yeah,
that was lucky for Conway.
Yeah, that is lucky for Conway
because he's got it out of the way immediately.
Yeah. And also just, we don't really see much of him, but Lubomir Zeman currently in 5th position, having a solid race there. He's 5 seconds behind these two at the moment. And then he's kind of got Sundstrom in the BMW 16 seconds behind him. So this has got to be one of Zeman's better races so far. He's having a good showing, staying out of trouble. He's currently got Hartkemper ahead of him, who's a back marker, because he's currently in 13th position. But Zeman hasn't quite got the pace to get onto the back of him and get let by. So interesting. As you look at Ismail Lebrecht having a solid race. I mean, it was 4.7 seconds. It's now jumped up a little bit to 5.2. But both of these guys in Lamborghinis, so in equal machines. But Pfeiffer at the moment is having the better race. But Lebrecht will be pleased with that. Qualified, 5th, didn't he? Or 6th? So
5th, yeah.
5th, yeah. So solid, really. Solid performance from him. I know, obviously, he took an opportunity where two of the guys. But as we're looking at Ibrahimi and Mooney, that's Tahili, isn't it? They just flat. We're on board with Mooney. He's very, very close to the back of Ibrahimi here, and it looked like they might have touched at one point, but wasn't too sure. It's these guys. I mean, they're not letting go, are they? They are not letting go.
I mean,
no.
I mean, you could be believed to be told this is a fight for the championship. I mean, it doesn't matter. Positions reversed, so Ibrahimi's still going to win the championship, Nick. But there's individual pride on the line here as well.
Well, I mean, at this point, they've already been fighting it out for 30 minutes, so, might as well take it all the way to the end and say, hey, I'm better than you. So, I mean, what's the point of showing up?
Yeah, as Katahiti now is also getting lapped by Z-Man and so forth. Z-Man's finally got past Hartkemper. So, I'll be interested to see where Hartkemper actually comes in when all the other drivers up ahead do their mandatory pit stops, because he's one of those guys who just kind of sort of pops up when he's not really expected. So yeah, if you only just joined us, let you know that there has been a change to ACC. Those that have a time penalty will be served as part of their mandatory pit stop. As we're on board with Samir Ibrahimi, who comes to complete his mandatory pit stop for tonight's event. Probably wants a bit of rest from Mooney chased him down.
I mean, I can imagine he does want a bit of rest, and he's going to get a few moments to gather his thoughts in the pit lane.
Yeah, I wonder if Mooney will then decide to pit on the next lap, or because he looked like he had more pace. I mean, it's very easy to follow the other car, isn't it, Nick? Very easy to follow rather than be chased.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You don't want to be in that situation. This is Ibrahimi pulling into the pits, actually.
This is a long stop.
Yeah, I thought he would have.
This has to be tires. Surely he's taking tires.
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether Mooney has an equally longer stop.
So, this could be big for the championship. If Ibrahimi takes tyres and Mooney doesn't, it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out, because where is Ibrahimi going to be once everyone else pits if everyone in front doesn't take tyres?
Yeah, so do you think he took tyres in that stop? Is that what happened? I wasn't really
that was at least 30 seconds, so yeah.
Right, okay. I was looking at something else. I wasn't really paying too much attention to his pit stop, if I'm being honest. So
yeah, that's definitely tyres that he's taken on there.
Well, he's had a couple of spins, maybe he had a couple of flat spots. I mean, these, for those that race ECC will know, the flat spots can get a little bit annoying. If you've got ABS, so that's great, but if you've the car is spun to the side, or the ABS isn't going to save your tyres at that point, is it? So maybe he was a bit annoyed with his wheel potentially shaking. I know that annoys me. So
Yeah, I mean, well, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, maybe that's the cushion that he was thinking of using it in a technical term, get a fresh set of tires because he's got the time to play with. So he went in for a fresh set, which usually doesn't happen in the GT3 class for a race this length. So, that's an extra thing that he could do, which is pretty nice.
Lebrec and Zeman in the pit lane.
Okay, well, it's interesting to see if Mooney will do the same, as we're on board with David Fredericks. Loving the sparks there in this game. Oh, it looks so good. Kadahili again, making a nuisance of himself. As a Bentley
Actually,
looks to get
that's
past.
Jonathan Bentz, actually.
Oh, is it?
It is the
It is.
310
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Aston
Ben.
Martin.
The BEN in the window is a big clue. Yeah, you're right.
I wasn't gonna give that one away too much, Paul.
Paul, pay attention.
I thought of giving you a bit of the benefit of the doubt, but
Yeah, no, I really should look at that a lot more.
here we go.
Yeah.
Yosef Varga in the pit lane. He has a 5-second penalty, and he'll be serving it in this pit stop. So of course he's staying here much longer. I think he's obviously going to take tyres as well here.
Normally you see the cars lift, I thought, when they take tyres.
You see them drop back down. You don't always see them lift.
Right, okay. So Mooney's now coming around to complete another lap, so it'll be interesting to see whether he does decide to pit or carry on. The race leader is yet to clear his mandatory pit, and Mooney is coming into the pits.
You can see,
here he comes.
You can see Yosef Varga. That 5-second penalty has disappeared. So he's got that done. But Raymond
I love
Mooney,
that just like little thing we like to point out, like, look, it's gone. Isn't that neat?
honestly though, it's one of the best updates I think we've had to ACC, at least from a stewarding and broadcast perspective.
And it mimics real life, right? So this is the thing that we're always after when it comes to sim racing. We want realism, and that is something that was missing.
So Mooney comes in to serve his stop.
Would it be as long as Ibrahimi's stop? That's the
He's
question.
definitely taking tyres.
So
This isn't fuel.
Where is Samir Ibrahimi right now? He's in 8th position. Where is he out on track?
He's just come through 130R.
Right, okay, so this could be close, you know.
Thing is, have those tyres got up to temperature in time to take the benefit of them?
Right, Mooney is leaving the pits. Here we go.
Oh man, I love drag races down.
Right,
So
the pit limiter is off. Where is Samir Ibrahimi? He's alongside
Gonna be
him.
ahead him.
And he goes ahead. Oh,
So Samir
look,
on the fresh tyres.
makes it work. And he's gapped him a little bit, because before the pit stop, they were nose to tail, weren't they? So he's gained a little bit of time there. That's so yeah, I'm sure Mooney's sick and tired of the back of Samir Ibrahimi's car.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta picture, he's trying to push the car past the pit limiter, trying to make physics work in a different way, and just he's like, oh, there he goes, and now I got to look at his back again.
I've seen that in so many forms of racing, Nick. You would not believe people trying to will the car on.
But what is surprising is how quickly he's getting onto the back of Samir Ibrahimi, considering Samir's been on those tyres a lap longer, so he's got a lot more heat into those tyres, into the brakes and so forth. So again, Mooney showing some real pace, and then we've still got the top 5 guys to complete their mandatory pit stop. So we're looking at the guys in 3rd and 4th here. Lebrec is he's still 8.5 seconds ahead of these guys. He's cleared his mandatory pit stop, as I think Hellman now is going into the pits because Lebrec's just got past, but there might have been a pass for position because he hasn't got the P against his name. So
Lebrec took tyres as well, by the way.
Right, okay, so Pfeffer still out, 21 laps completed, he's still out and he hasn't done his mandatory pitch yet. But how good does this look? We're on board with Raymond Mooney in the bumper cam, and look at that Ferris wheel and look at the detail that we've got in this game. It just looks unbelievable. And it's like you're actually watching real racing, even though
I'll say
you're not.
I'll say it every time. You can't beat night racing.
You can't. And I don't think you can beat the transition either. Like if you do like an early evening race about 6, 7 o'clock, or maybe a little bit earlier, a little bit earlier than that, maybe 4. And just when you're racing, the transition and the sun getting in your eyes and the windscreen and just those little bits of details, really, those challenges that you don't get in other games. Suddenly, I can't see the apex because the sun's shining on the windscreen.
I tell you what, Paul, you're absolutely correct. I did a 24-hour of the Nordschleife this year. Oh, has that been? Oh, okay.
No, just a minor ping or something just happened there. It was weird.
Raven Mooney, maybe
going underground,
having a bit of it's strategy to catch up to Ibrahimi. So, but back to my point. I did a 24-hour of the Nordschleife this year in iRacing. Mooney's getting right up close to the back now, as that's Jonathan Bent's in the way again. Oh, we're having a few more problems.
No, we've had some kind of. Oh, has he dropped?
Mooney, I think he's dropped.
Oh no!
I think he's dropped out of the race.
And so has Ibrahimi's still there. No. Oh no!
See, Ibrahimi is still there. So
well,
Mooney.
No.
So there's issues. Those issues that we saw, they weren't just.
They weren't you. I thought they were your end, but they were his end.
They were foreshadowing.
Ah no!
Well,
damn it!
Well,
man, that was some like end of the Avengers movie actions and that right there. Him fading into the universe.
So before
hold on, he's back. How's that? He's in the pits.
He's in the pits though. He'll probably be a lap down now.
Oh.
So I would like to congratulate Samir Ibrahimi on winning the GT3 class for the multi-class GT Series Championship.
that's just ruined what was being a great race. Oh.
But
Brian just channeled some classic Jesse Liebman right there.
Technical issues can happen. We've seen it. We've seen it multiple times this season with a couple of people having disconnects and.
Yeah, we've seen it in events that I've been running lately, and it's. I mean, I went and bought myself a £300 router because like my standard broadband, provider router just doesn't perform, to the levels that I want. And £300 for a home router is a lot of money, but I do get some stability with it, and with anything, and sometimes it's hard to know whether it's the person's connection. There could be local routing issues with the ISP or whatever it may be, or whether it's someone's local infrastructure in their house, or it's Kunos related, which we have seen in the past. We have seen disconnects because of Kunos servers, and it's but yeah, I tend to hold on. Where's wood? Here we go. Touch wood. I tend not to have disconnects, and I don't know. I generally don't have them. I'm very fortunate.
Doesn't matter how much wood you touch now, Paul. You've done it. You've completely ruined it now.
But it makes me think there must be other factors. I always, obviously there are many factors with someone's internet connectivity, and it's just a shame because that was a really hot battle we've been witnessing tonight, and it's kind of come to an end in that way, and that's kind of upsetting for me as we're on board with Lindholm following Sundstrom into the first 2 corners, and now we're going into the S's, and Sundstrom's rear end was looking a little bit happy. He wanted to come and say hello to the driver. He's looking a little bit loose right now, isn't he, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. The Mercedes having some insane pace over the BMW, but it's hard to get past the BMW in the S's, as has been made apparent by Sundstrom, who is showing in second and third, but that's because they haven't taken their pit stops yet. We got 27 minutes to go.
Is there a car that had a little off? There was a bit of dust ahead of us, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I believe that's a back marker up there with a GT4 car, and the GT4 cars can just absolutely eat curbs. So I wouldn't be surprised to see little dust clouds behind them, kind of pulling some classic Mario Kart moves like that. But yeah, I mean, you can see here, that's actually Sundstrom pulling away pretty nicely, and Lindholm's going to get caught up with the GT4 car coming into the braking zone, which is always a little bit stressful to see. He's actually going to miss it by a little bit and throw himself off, and Sundstrom's going to use that to get some pace out of there. But I mean, I mean, like that battle's not over.
I think we may have just temporarily lost Nick. So we'll continue on with the coverage as is. And
so yeah, fun and games. This is the challenges of the multi-class, isn't it, Ryan?
yeah, it is. I mean, I think that was Eric Engman in the Aston Martin 909, if I'm remembering that off the top of my head. And he's currently running third or fourth, I think it is. No, third in the GT4 class. So he's doing fairly well today. And quite a few of the GT4s yet to serve their pit stops. And of course, a few of these guys up front in the GT3 field. I think the guys that haven't served their pit stops yet are going to the end. They're not going to be taking tyres. And it's going to be interesting to see how that works out, because...
Yes, it will.
I mean, this is one of the... It's one of those, you know, do you not situations, because if you take the tyres... and you feel perfectly fine on them throughout the race, you know, you took tyres, it was a safe call, but you lost time. You know, you lost about 30 seconds because you took tyres. However, if you don't take tyres, and then you end up in a situation where your tyres are shot to pieces come the end of the race, and you put it in the wall on the last lap or the penultimate lap or something, and then you lose all the positions that you gained by not taking the tyres, it wasn't worth taking them in the first place. So
Lindholm almost going for a move there, sorry.
Yeah, it's one of those really hard to call situations where it's a do you not situation, and you never really find out if it's the right answer until you get to the end of the race.
Right, exactly. Actually, interestingly, the two Audis out on the track today in the GT3 class both took tires. That was Hartkemper, who's currently in 11th position, kind of getting back up to the position he started in. He lost it coming through 130R twice, I believe. Just losing the back end there. So he grabbed tires, and then Ibrahimi had the cushion to grab tires, so he went ahead and did that. I wonder if that's an Audi thing, or even maybe the Mercedes are kind of feeling that a little bit here. As this is them pulling into the chicane, missing the brake point again because of a GT4 car. That has got to be rough for Lindholm, who caught up to Sundstrom and is getting a little bit of a flash from the GT4 car behind him, just because, you know, he's fighting for position to get ahead of Sundstrom, and again gets caught up with another GT4 coming into a tight section where he just can't really pass him safely. So that's going to be its upload to Lindholm again.
Yeah, it's as we've seen it. As I said earlier on, it's a high-speed track, a lot of heavy braking zones, and even though it's quite a wide track, it is hard to pass around here, especially for these S's. I mean, we saw earlier on, looking at these two with Sundstrom, the BMW, been a little bit loose on the rear end, and even though Lindholm was right behind him, he just couldn't make it stick. That GT4 got in a little bit away, and these guys have gapped a little bit since then, but it'll be, like you say, Ryan, it'll be interesting if these guys are going to the end and don't take tyres. That's a 30-second-ish advantage, isn't it, if they don't take tyres?
Well, I'm quite interested to see how this all plays out, because Pfeffer took tyres at Zolder. He's not going to take tyres this race. He's missed the window to make the most of fresh tyres. Mm-hmm. So he's going to the end of the race. Lebrec did take tyres, and they're both in a Lamborghini. Obviously, setups can differ, driving styles can differ. Of
course,
you know, so many things to take into account that can affect tyre wear. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Is Pfeffer going to regret not taking tyres come the end of the race, and is Lebrec going to win out by taking those tyres, or is it not going to matter come the end of the race and Pfeffer's going to win anyway? These are stories that will develop over the course of the next 22 minutes.
If we look at the gaps, you know, that are showing, you can show overall gaps, can't you? On the sometimes it shows you overall, and then it also shows you the gaps. So I wonder if so Lebrec is 15 seconds ish behind Federich. So you got 3 seconds there between Federich and Lindholm. Maybe he's about 22 seconds behind at the moment, behind Pfeffer. He's looking good for a win, isn't he? Potentially doable. Because you've got the pit entry to take into account, and then you've got the very brief stop, of course. But I have never timed how long it takes to get in and out of the pits, Suzuka.
Just for the listeners at home, this is actually the second time that Paul and I have put Ryan on the spot to do some quick math. So stay tuned for Ryan the calculator.
I'll be 100% honest. I passed maths at school, but it was not my strongest subject.
No, neither mine. I'm a calculator boy. Yeah, I'm calculating all day long.
This is why I do commentary and design.
Yeah, I'm like, hey Google, what's 2 + 2?
Because it's just easier. I already moved that memory slot over.
I've got Google on speed dial. So back to the racing action, because I'm sure people care much more about the racing action than our Google quick searches and our ability to do mathematics live on stream. I think Lebrec, I don't know. It's hard to call.
He's in with a shot. I think he's in with a shot.
I think this is the situation I see in my head. Pefeffer's not taking tyres, so for Lebrec to catch Pefeffer needs to make a mistake. 100%.
Sorry, just in chat, Pedrozini Frank has also lost connection to the server tonight. We've not spotted that drop, so he's just put into the chat.
Oh, that's a real shame.
Yeah. Pedrozini had a bit of a rough start, actually. He was in near the bottom of the GT3 pack, and then he was fighting with GT4s by lap 3 or 4. So it looked like he was already having a bit of a rough race. So him getting disconnected is already just kind of just another blow to that. So we do apologize for that.
Cherry on the cake, isn't it?
Would you believe it? Yeah. Our concurrent views just dropped as soon as we went into the debate about mathematics and Google.
Well,
people don't want to learn,
Right.
Yes.
19 minutes to go, or just over, until the season is finished here at Suzuka. It's 9:04 in the evening here, 9:05 just gone. And it's a beautiful night race here at Suzuka. We're currently looking at Simon Lindholm. He's third place at the moment. But of course he does still have his mandatory pit stop to do. Pefeffer leads the way. Mikael Sundström second. Lindholm third. Frederich fourth. Ismail Lebrec in fifth. If you've missed all of what's happened earlier on in the race, we'll give you a quick recap. And Samir Brahimi, championship leader. Raymond Mooney, second in the championship. 13 points separated them for about the entire race up until about 10 minutes ago. Raymond Mooney, Samir Brahimi been fighting over third place so hard. Both of them came in, both of them took tyres. Samir got ahead of Mooney, and then Mooney's had a disconnect from the server.
Well, he stayed ahead in the pits, didn't he? So he was already ahead and managed to gap him a little bit. But yeah, couple of contacts here and there.
Josef Varga and Harry Conway have had two coming togethers. 2 penalties dished out to both of those drivers. And they've served those penalties as per the new feature in ACC. Serve those penalties in the pit stops now. And that means the timing board is nice and clean for us. We don't have to worry about seeing all those +5s, +15s, +10s and all sorts.
Lebrec is catching the back of Fredericks, which is interesting to see. I'm trying to work out where Ibrahimi is going to end up because he's 19 seconds behind Lebrec.
I was just thinking about this for a moment, Paul. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
19 seconds, all right?
It's quite a gap, isn't it?
I mean, Lebrec took tyres.
Yeah, I know.
As well, so that's 19 seconds that Lebrec has made up on Ibrahimi on pace.
Yes, I know.
On a track in which he told me the Lamborghini is not that good.
Yeah, it sounds like he likes to undersell himself. Yeah, I feel like he keeps telling you white lies.
I'm starting to feel like all the drivers I talked to on the grid are not telling me the truth. And Raymond Mooney, who, by the way, had a disconnect, he's rejoined the race. He's 3 laps down. He's now just picked up a drive-through penalty for track limits. So, to compound his day even worse, He's now got a drive-through penalty today.
What he's
and-
probably hoping is for a disconnect from Ibrahimi.
I mean, look, like I said before, you've got to hold on to whatever hope.
Well, yeah,
you
you got to
have.
clutch those straws. Yeah. Yeah. But these guys, I mean, these guys here, Sundstrom and Lindholm, I mean, the gap has come down again to about half a second. These guys are having a good battle. Lindholm is not able to get close enough to really make a challenge, but we know how quick that Mercedes is in a straight line, don't we?
Just sorry, Nick. Just to chime in here for a second. Ismail Lebrec has just made up 1 second on Ibrahimi over the last sector.
Yeah, he has, and he's also gained Fredericks because now down to 11.3 that gap. He's flying.
So, I mean, him taking tires actually is going to work out pretty well coming into the last 16 minutes or so here.
So it looks like Pfeffer's got the best lap time of a 1:59.3, and Lebrec's quickest is a 1:59.4, but his last lap was a 2 minute, well, just nearly bang on 2 minutes.
Slightly quicker than Pfeffer's.
Yeah, slightly, ever so slightly, but like Sundstrom and Lindholm we're watching are doing 201s, mid 201s at the moment.
I mean,
it's interesting.
If you're running 159s this late into the race compared to the rest of the grid, I mean, like that's going to be getting a lot of time each lap. Yeah, gaining nearly a second or two. As Lindholm is getting very, very close to the back of the BMW of Sundstrom now as they go into the hairpin. Looking on the inside, but that door is nicely shut. He doesn't make a silly dive like we've seen for a couple of other drivers this evening. Sundstrom racing for the nearly on pace team. As we look back at Lindholm from the rear spoiler, I love this view. In the game. And, the Mercedes being very, very patient, I've got to say. Being very, very patient. And it makes me wonder what he'll do when he pits, whether he'll just go and try and do an undercut or an overcut, I forget which way it is, but whether he'll go in and follow Sundstrom in or whether he'll stay out for another lap, because I wouldn't blink until Sundstrom blinks, really. So, as he's having a little look. Oh, GT4 in the way, but into the final chicane, and he's right there, but he just hasn't quite got the pace to get past. Yeah, I think I mean through each corner and each sector, he does seem to gain on Sundstrom quite a bit, but Sundstrom just has that wide BMW in front of him, just can't quite do it. Actually, this is going to be Lindholm lining up for a bit of a jump into the first corner, but not quite. Sundstrom taking the wider swing out and has managed to just stay absolutely defensive, just kind of just owning the road in front of Lindholm, and just can't get quite past him. The S is being a very dangerous spot to do any kind of overtake, so that's going to be Sundstrom pulling away just a little bit more. So I think Lindholm's got to be kind of saving up for the spoon. I mean, really, if he's looking for a spot where he's just going to kind of go for a maneuver, but Sundstrom's not going to let it go easily.
No, and it might be the case that sometimes you find if you're just there and darting about and putting the other driver under a bit of pressure, you may force them into an error. Just like to highlight, Fredericks is now pitted, so Lebrec and Ibrahimi have now moved up because of that. So Lebrec is now in 4th, Ibrahimi is in 5th, and Lebrec is 11.8 seconds behind these two guys here. So he's definitely got second, I think. If you look at it, I'm just trying to work out whether he's got first.
No, I think Lebrec's definitely going to be second after the pit stops are done. But I think the interesting fact is going to be, what will the gap be?
Yes.
It's more
half a second quicker that last lap than Pfeffer, Lebrec.
Yeah, but I think what you've got to consider as well is that Pfeffer's not taking tyres, and Lebrec has spent 30 seconds static in the pit lane when he took tyres.
Yeah,
so
true.
I don't think he'll have made up 30 seconds on Pfeffer so far over the course of half a race.
Yeah, and Sundstrom is 27 seconds back from Pfeffer. So that means that he's 30, over 30 seconds behind. he'd probably maybe be more about 4 or 5 seconds once the pits are done, potentially. He's showing us a good pace right now, Lebret, because he took those tyres. So, yeah, interesting. It gives us something to hope for. So again, his last couple of laps have been quicker than the race leader. So he is gaining on him ever so slightly.
I think it's going to be a bit of a nail biter based on when Febvre pulls in for that pit stop. I mean, we got about 11 minutes to go here. That's a few more laps at least. So whenever Febvre pulls in, that's going to be Lebret somewhere near him. Obviously, a little bit behind based on the gap here, especially if Febvre's going to pull in for just a bit of a splash and dash, just trying to get out of there and finish the race up.
Lubomir Zeman is going to go to the outside of David Friedrich as they come into the first corner. A little bit of contact between the Aston Martin and the Bentley. Zeman will tuck in behind, and he'll have to go again. A little bit of rubbing paint. Zeman's going to flash the lights.
I don't know why Zeman would be annoyed about that, though, to be honest.
I mean, we've seen this is multiple drivers now try to go super wide into turn one, and it doesn't seem to favor it. You kind of lose the breaking point. It throws you off track, and this is Febvre pulling into the pits. He's got about 10 minutes to go for the race, and it looks like he's off the jacks and rolling back out.
Yeah, so he's going to come out in first for sure.
Yeah, Lebret is not even anywhere near. He's just heading towards down to the final chicane.
That 30 seconds has played a massive, massive part.
Yeah. As Lindholm is now in the pits as well.
So Lindholm in the pit lane. He was chasing down Sundstrom.
So he's made the move early. So he's trying to do the undercut.
See, that puts pressure on Sundstrom now, though, to go quick and have a really good in-lap.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Because for Sundstrom right now, he knows that if Lindholm has free air, he's going to be ahead of him by the time Sundstrom pits. So Sundstrom knows he has to come in. He pretty much has to come in this lap, and he has to have a good in-lap.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Also, by the way, top 4 in GT4 still yet to make their pit stops. 9 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and
it's actually not Parker running away with GT4 as hard as he's done before. Kadili's got 7 seconds. I mean, that's a gap for sure, especially with only a little under 9 minutes now. But I mean, Parker did not absolutely sprint away with it, so that is keeping GT4 nice and fresh for us.
Oh, and this is not going to play well into Lindholm's hands. He's come out behind Friedrich and Zeman, and of course they're battling. So this is going to slow down his progress. Ball is in Sundstrom's court.
Unbelievable. So Sundstrom is heading towards the final chicane. So I'll tell you if he heads into the pits, which I'm expecting him to do so.
Things should get very interesting
here.
Yeah,
in he goes. Ooh, these guys are nowhere near the pace of Sundstrom and Lindholm.
Yeah, being held back by these two here, you've got to be upset about that battle, but like Sundstrom pulling in now, actually kind of an opportune time on the opposite side of the track, really. He's actually going to be rolling through now and is going to be, I believe, definitely ahead of this pack. So, that might be just a job well done for that battle.
Yeah, it might well be. He's on his ways now. He lit up the rear wheels as he goes to exit the pits as this gaggle here is coming down to the final chicane. Yeah, it's lost him a lot of time, isn't it? It's actually nowhere close because the pit limiter is now off, and off Sundstrom goes, and he's got 4th position. So, as a GT4 at the same time as went off the track to avoid him. Quite drastic action there. I didn't quite catch who that was, but
I mean,
that was
just
Jonathan Bentz. So yeah,
the menacing BMW coming through turn one. I mean, if you're in a GT4, like that's got to be just terrifying to see that giant car coming at you. We're actually going to be riding on the back of Siemens' car, looking back at Lindholm, which has easily kept pace with these two, but that's Lindholm being very frustrated right now with that pit strategy not working out, trying to get some clean air, and just ended up getting stuck behind this battle here for 5th position. So Sundstrom is going to be pretty securely in 4th place unless Lindholm can make some miracles happen. But with only 6 minutes left, it's that door is shutting.
yeah, he's obviously got some pace, but it's whether he's got the ability to get past these guys, because overtaking is not exactly easy, is it?
Yeah, that's actually going to be then the stacking up at the end of the hairpin. Zeman trying to find Lindholm trying to find some pace around the outside of this corner going into Spoon. This is going to be the pass attempt, going to tuck onto the inside. He obviously had the pace, but just didn't quite have the door to sneak past, and is going to get back in line behind. Oh yeah, Lindholm has got to be frustrated with what's going on ahead of him right now.
Oh, but Bentz in the GT4 is just in front
this
of his
could
pack.
be. Yeah, this could be dangerous.
See 3 giant GT3 cars coming up behind you, going through 130R. This is not where you want to be.
Yeah,
That's actually Lindholm going
Bentley.
pretty wide behind him. And they'll be fighting into the chicane there. Looked like a pretty clean pass from everybody, and they'll be cooperating into the last 5 minutes of this race.
Yeah, Lindholm lost a little bit of time there because he went quite wide, didn't he? And then he had a GT4 right in front of him, so clearly had to lift off as Z-Man's looking to make a move on Frederich as we go into the first corner. He's taken the outside line, and he's made that work. That Aston's showing some huge pace getting past the Bentley. So Lindholm is still behind these two. We'll be watching this from afar and hoping that he can make a very similar move on the Bentley, because he's currently in 7th position. I mean, I was expected to be potentially in 4th after the pit stops, but didn't really go well for him. So Sundstrom is currently sitting in that position, and he'll be a little bit frustrated with that.
Interesting point, by the way. Lebrec is about 20 seconds behind Pefeffer. So I don't know, for Lebrec now, does he think to himself, should I have taken tyres?
I mean, again, like you alluded to, like that's a bit of a late cut from Lindholm. Not quite missing the breaking point, but kind of going for something dangerous there. Lebrec, I mean, like I would like to think that no one lives with that many regrets about something like this, but Lebrec grabbing tires, he was hoping for the advantage there, and that just cost him the right amount of time where they would be kind of neck and neck for 1st position here. So that's just going to be kind of a tough blow. Those strategies shaken out the way that they did, and like Ryan alluded to, you just can't see that until the absolute end when the checkered flag drops. So, that's going to be a tough blow for Lebrec. This is going to be Lindholm taking the inside corner through 130R. That was a very dangerous move that Lindholm was hoping for. Frederick shutting the door on that, because that could have just ended both of their races if that went the wrong way. But that is Zeman actually pulling away from this battle. Zeman just found that pace, and now he's just rocketed ahead.
Yeah, I noticed that before you mentioned it. Just once he got past, as Lundholm is looking to make the same move that Z-Man did the previous lap, and he goes on the outside of the Bentley, but the Bentley still got the inside line, and they touch a little there as they go into the second part of the corner as they head up towards the S's. So unable to make that the same move that Z-Man did not long ago. And Samir Ibrahimi, drive-through penalty.
Oh my word.
Track limits.
What?
Drive-through penalty for Samir Ibrahimi in the last 3 minutes of the race.
Oh my!
It's Solder all over again for Samir Ibrahimi.
Doesn't really change the result though, I don't think, does it? But I mean, it doesn't change the result for the championship with Mooney not being here. But if you imagine now, if you're Mooney and you're watching the stream, you'd be like, well, actually, he's 3 laps down. I mean, I can't.
No, but if you're Mooney at the moment, and you find out post-race that Samir Brahimi got a drive-through penalty.
He's in the event, so he might have seen it pop up.
You're
on
livid.
the hard.
You are livid because you know that was your opportunity.
That's your championship there. That's got to be gutted.
What did I... Hang on. So, it was... If Mooney was 3rd, Ibrahimi needed to be 8th. So,
Yeah, well,
I'm
Mooney's
interested to see where he comes out.
Yeah, but Mooney is 3 laps down on the leads. I can't...
For sure, but just for what if sake.
Oh, right. Just, yeah. Okay, like, this is what you would have won type of thing,
What
right?
could have happened?
So he's in the pit now. He's serving his drive-through. So that promotes Sundstrom, that promotes Zeman, that promotes Fredericks probably as well.
Actually, I think that's going to put him right behind that battle. So this actually is going to be a huge blow to Ibrahimi. I think he's going to be lifting off the pit limiter as these 3 are crossing ahead of him. That's Ibrahimi dropping down to 7th position. Yeah. Oh, that's a tough blow to Ibrahimi, losing 3 positions in that drive-through.
So 7th wouldn't quite have been enough, because if Mooney had finished 3rd, theoretically, Ibrahimi would still have won the championship by 1 point. That's how close it could have been. Biter. That's how close it could have been, ladies and gentlemen.
So Hartkemper's done. I mean, something to highlight. Hartkemper's done well. Currently in 10th position. You know, was pretty quiet early. I think because he had a moment. He had a bit of damage, got repaired, and he's done quite well during while some of the other runners are clearing the mandatory pit to get up into 10th position. He's less than a second behind Varga, but I don't think he's got enough time as Pfeffer, our race leader, has finished the race in first position.
I didn't even get informed we were on the last lap, but Tobias Pfeffer will win the final race of the season. He'll take a brace of wins to finish off the season in the Lambo Power 222. Ismail Lebrac will make it a Lamborghini 1-2 to end out the season. A well-deserved podium from him. And would you believe it, the man who has been in form for the last couple of weeks, he's going to take another podium in the multi-class GT series. He's going to be a bit deep into the last chicane, but he's not going to care as he gets past Bruno Cadilli. Mikael Sundstrom, he's going to pick up his 2nd podium of the season, his 3rd podium in 4 races. And it's well-deserved for Mikael Sundstrom in the 899 BMW. That'll do his championship points at the end of the season a world of good.
Yeah, so obviously...
Zeman and David Frederich will round out the top 5. Lindholm pushing Frederich to the line. But Lindholm will finish 6th. Samir Brahimi, the championship leader, he will take the crown, finishing in 7th on the day. Harry Conway should come home in 8th place. But it's still all to play for here. Youssef Varga and Hartkemper, it's on. 9th and 10th in the race is still not over. Youssef Varga, he's going to go wide coming through 130R. They're going to come towards the chicane. Surely it's done now. Hartkemper just too far back. And Youssef Varga's just got to get a good exit now out of the final corner. He will do so. And it looks like he's going to have 9th place for the race lockdown. Hartkemper will finish 10th to round out the top 10.
And that's all of your drivers across the line. An excellent finish from everybody. James Parker winning out in the GT4 division with Cadilli right behind. Put up an excellent fight in the GT4 class. And as we're coming to the end of the end, right? I didn't say that wrong, right?
It's the end of the season. Yeah, it is the end of the end.
I said it and lost all my confidence immediately. I was like, that can't possibly be right.
Yeah, no, it is. It is the end of the series. This is the last round, and so Samir Brahimi is the champion of the series. You know, and but you have to. Like, tonight's a little bit disappointing. I mean, Mooney unfortunately had to disconnect. That kind of ruined that battle a little bit for the championship for us. It took kind of rudely snatched away from our clutches, which is a bit of a shame. I was really enjoying that, and they were pushing each other really, really well. And but yeah, a good solid championship win for Ibrahimi. I mean, Fefe only been in the last 2 rounds. A man that's clearly got a lot of pace. If we, if there's a repeat of this multi-class series, you wonder whether he would be taking the GT3 crown from Samir Ibrahimi. But again, a great performance from Lebrec as well. Solid, doesn't kind of goes a little bit unnoticed, a little bit sneaks up on you. Done really well, and Sundstrom should be very pleased with that finish in the BMW for third.
Yeah, so wonderful season it's been, an incredible 5 weeks. But it is now coming to an end, and we should have another multi-class series coming very, very soon here at RCI. But if you've been thinking to yourself, well, I kind of enjoyed tonight's race, what's up next? Well, it's the final round of the Intercontinental Sprint Championship. Tomorrow, the pros and the AMs take to the field, or the track rather, for the final race of their season. Can you guess where we're at? Well, we're going to be right here at Suzuka. Again, we're staying here. We're not going anywhere for the next 24 hours. We're going to be staying right here in Japan. It's lovely this time of year. And we're going to be having a 60-minute sprint race around Suzuka to finish off the Intercontinental Sprint Championship season. We have a Ginetta Zolder race going on this Sunday. That's going to be incredibly exciting. Just Ginetta GT4s on Zolder. Brilliant track for that car. I cannot wait to see how well all of the drivers do and how exciting the racing is probably going to be there. The Monday GT4 Championship wrapped up this week. It was incredibly exciting towards the end of the series. New Monday Championship has been announced. Sign-ups for that go live tomorrow. So make sure you keep yourself looking around the Discord. They should be going live tomorrow around midday. And that's going to be our McLaren Masters Cup. McLaren 720S for Class 1 and McLaren 570S for Class 2. So all McLarens, 2 different classes. Going to be so exciting to see. And of course, we have the 3 hours of the Nürburgring coming up in just a couple of weeks as well, in which we're hoping to be able to stream both the Pro and AM splits for all of you guys to enjoy. So, thank you very much to everyone here tonight. Thank you very much to the steward. They do an incredible job, a job I could never do. And thank you very much to both Nit Setnik and to Paul Glover for joining me here in the commentary box over the course of the season. I've also had Fabian Schridberger join me for Zolder as well, so a big thank you for him joining me. And it's been an incredibly enjoyable season, guys. And I'll throw it to you first, Nick. Have you got any closing thoughts for the season?
I cannot wait for more mixed class racing. I think it just adds an incredible dynamic. I think it adds a lot of flavor to the race. You get to see drivers work, around different kind of layers of traffic. You kind of have two separate races going on the track at the same time. So just the action is endless, and anything can happen. I cannot wait for more of this stuff.
Yeah, so from me, I'd like to see more cars out on track. I think more GT4s, because as we've seen, the GT4s in the mix when you've got GT3s battling can create some chaos. And that's the thing about multi-class racing. And we touched on it during qualifying. I like the fact that the GT4s go out first, so the GT3s then get to go out afterwards, so they're not tripping over each other. But obviously, there's not a lot you can do about that during a race environment, because everyone's fighting over the same piece of tarmac. So it'd be great to get a few more GT4s in the mix, just to challenge the GT3 drivers a little bit more and to create a little bit more chaos. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this championship. Been some fantastic racing, and congratulations to Samir and to Mr. Parker for their respective championship wins.
Yep, so of course, you've seen all the stuff that we've got going on around here and all the stuff that's coming up over the next few days. We'll have more championship news for you guys coming over the next couple of weeks as well as some more information about the 12 Hours of Bathurst going on in October. But from everyone here at RCI, thank you very much. Do leave a like and subscribe if you think the broadcast was good tonight. It really, really does help us out, guys. And of course, your support is incredible. We wouldn't broadcast these races if you guys didn't want them to be broadcasted, and we enjoy doing them so much. So definitely do give us that support if you feel that we deserve it. But besides that, thank you very much for watching tonight. We hope to see you again tomorrow for the finale of the Intercontinental Sprint Championship Pro and Am. And from everyone here at RCI, enjoy the rest of your evening.